it's not like a dream state, and it's not like a hallucinative state either, because dreams and hallucinative states they're kind of chaotic and they change as well. The structure as you tell them over the years, they change. But for me, that's never changed, at all. The whole thing was like I describe it as being ultra real. It was just
Yeah,
like
it's a
incredibly,
very lucid experience. You were not
yeah.
just in some dopey, dreamy state. Interesting. It's funny. I mean, you hear this with all the NDE experiences, people trying to rationalize and excuse them and because it threatens their paradigm. I mean, the predominant paradigm is when your body dies, that's curtains. You're dead, you don't exist anymore. And when people come back with these stories that contradict that paradigm, it makes the paradigm holders uncomfortable, and they try to come up with reasons why it wasn't a real experience. It was some kind of hallucination. Brain was starved of oxygen, or you're influenced by drugs and all that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I've done a few um, debates on the radio, on the BBC, and stuff like that, and where they've had scientists on, and they've contacted me and they said, "Look, we've got a scientist we're doing studies into NDEs. Would you would you like to come on and talk?" I said, "Yeah, totally." So, for me, science also saved me. I mean, without science, I wouldn't be talking to you now as well. The scientists, I totally respect. But I also, one thing I was saying that is that we do. It's almost like we all need to have a scientific explanation for everything, which is kind of insane because we can't. I started watching programs ever since that experience on the universe. Now I love watching programs about the universe, so they're science based. And there was one guy I love called Professor Brian Cox, who's a UK guy,
Yeah,
and,
I'm aware
and
of him.
yeah, and he's great. And so there was a program I saw only a couple of years back, and he was saying that he said that everyone thinks that as scientists we've got all the answers to the universe. He said, but we haven't. He said we're only at the beginning of trying to understand the vastness of it all. They're really, really only just touching the surface of trying to understand all that. So I thought that's great that he said that because it's absolutely true. I mean, there's other things in life that we don't question. There's no scientific equation for people falling in love, for love, what makes us fall in love and all those different things. There's no
Well,
real,
some scientists would say, "Oh, yes, it's hormones, it's it's biological instinct, it's DNA." They'd come up with reasons.
yeah, no, of course, yeah. But again, I would argue that they're probably only touching the surface. And they're not, there's no
Right.
sort of like, okay, because otherwise you'd have that in a bottle, wouldn't you? It's so,
There was a song about that. It was called "Love Potion Number 9" back in
yeah,
the '60s.
okay, well, there you go. So scientists would be saying, yeah, great, this is going to be the biggest selling drug of all time, isn't it? Love potion number 9.
I'll spare you the torment of hearing me sing it, and my wife's torment if I were to sing it. But it's funny because on the one hand, yes, many scientists, perhaps all, if you really pinned them down, would acknowledge that, yeah, there's so much we don't know, and we're just scratching the surface. We've just begun basically to understand the universe. On the other hand, maybe sometimes even the same people dig their heels in and say, nope, there couldn't be God, there couldn't be this, other side, and when you're dead, you're dead, and it's kind of paradoxical that they could, have a foot in both camps like that.